But I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Joko, I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvest in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geography we're taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Amabara gange Irene Masika bagenda elia bagenda nile mwira wae akasente kenye kanyiyambiremu kakubaire nikanyiyambamu baitu akokubanza mbona nagule mbuzi bagitwara nagule enkoko nazo baziba hati akobambaire reno nisubura mwakasura tinje yina mani gokulema ngonza nyikalo mukatale mbono tuhimba ngotu tunsanga hangeto enda hangeto niha kasukali kokunyu niko nduko nukanyiyamba kati amani gokulema tinje yina ngamusima senga utabisubulero ni musima nyo ni musima abereho abieho ni musima mono.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning to you. Welcome back from that short break. It's Good Morning Uganda, and it's time for the agenda. Today is the 28th day of January 2025, and in line with Article 61, Clause 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, the Electoral Commission appointed this particular day as the day for elections of regional youth representatives to Parliament. And it's a conversation that we are delving into as Uganda gets to exercise its elections in line with the youth. Be part of the conversation. 0709602592. Keep in mind that Uganda is largely populated by young people. About 75% of Uganda's population is young, making us the biggest benefactors and, of course, participants in every line of decision making as we build the future for Uganda. Now, in studio with me is Damolida Daniela, who is a student leader, and Oremo Odwe, who is a youth leader as well, to just chew on into this conversation, but also be part of it as well. We can't definitely have it on our own, but we're having it for you. We're all learning and relearning. So be part of it. 0709602592. Good morning, Damolida.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. A pleasure having you this morning.
Pleasure to be here.
All right. Good morning, Oremo.
Yes, good morning, Julie. Very honored to be on the waves of UBC once again.
Indeed. Honor to have you back, especially on this particular day. And I'll start with you. In line with the youth elections that we're having this morning, do you think many youths are actually aware of what is happening today?
Thank you very much. I think the youth, just to be honest, the youth who are actually alert and aware are the youth who are actively engaged in politics. I think in the last 2 days, young people across the country have been traveling to different voting centers in the different regions of Uganda. I think the youth from northern Uganda have been moving to Arua City. The youth from eastern Uganda have been moving to Mbale, and I think western they are in Mbarara. So the politically charged young people are aware that voting is taking place today. But I also agree to the fact that there has been little education, and so some young people, a greater group of young people, are not aware of the voting that is taking place today. And also the other factor that could deter them from consuming that information is the nature of voting in youth structures, because the youth elections are not for everyone. They are for delegates. There are few individuals that come from different districts to come and elect these regional youth members of parliament. For example, you find a district like Dokolo, where I come from, has sent maybe 35 delegates, but we have a great number of young people in the district. So if some young people do not, if there is a group of young people who do not have access to maybe these delegates, it's possible for them to miss the information and not know that actually voting is happening on a day like today.
Indeed. Very pertinent at that. Now, in just a bit, we're getting to how those who know are able to be delegates, and who are these delegates for that point of information. But coming to you, Daniela, what regions in Uganda and venues are exercising this election exercise today?
The regions that are exercising these elections today, we have the central, the west, the east, and the northern regions. We also have one national female MP. But to add on to what he said, actually, there's an issue in terms of the fact that majority of the youth do not even know that elections for youth MP are happening today. And this is mostly because the people who are standing for these positions do not feel the need to publicize it, let me say, all through, since it's mostly delegates that are voting for this. And yet, who is voted is initially going to bind all the youth within this country. So I think that's a really bigger, larger problem that we need to discuss, that at the core of it, most youth need to be informed and know who is standing to represent them.
And when you say that, I'm now thinking of, yes, it's okay for a few people or delegates, a group of delegates to vote for these representatives, but there is need to follow up. And the fact that many youths might not even be aware, you'd wonder, how will they know who is representing them? How will they know what is being represented for them? How will they know what issues are to be discussed? And indeed, there's a gap. in there. We're having a conversation regarding youth elections today, chewing on it here and there. And you can be part of it. 0709-602-592. I am with Damulira Daniela, who is a student leader, and Oremo Odwe, who's a youth leader as well. As a youth, you're also watching. And in one way or the other, you might not be part of the delegates, but you are a citizen of Uganda and you have something to add, some value to add to your country. So be part of the show and the conversation. But also as a senior citizen, one thing for sure is senior citizens are needed to empower the young ones, to mentor the young ones. So as well, do share your opinion, share your comment, share what you think. It's a place of learning and relearning. 0709-602-592. Coming back to you, Odwe, when it comes to the delegates that are being part of this election exercise today, who are these delegates? How do they even become delegates?
Delegates are voted during the Youth Council elections. We have structures of the National Youth Council.
Right.
So in these particular elections, okay, I must also inform you that the structure of the National Youth Council was already formed up to the NEC level, National Executive Committee, the chairman is there. So it cascades from national to the village. But particularly for this particular election, the people who are going to participate in this electoral process are delegates, 3 delegates from every sub-county in this country. For example, in Dokolo district, I want to refer to my district always. In Dokolo district, we have 14 sub-counties. So every sub-county in those 14 sub-counties will send 3 delegates. The chairperson of the sub-county, the female affairs, and the finance. And then the district executive committee also sends 3 voters. That is for regional youth members of parliament. So for example, in northern Uganda, all the districts, all the 45 districts will be in position to send delegates from all those sub-counties. But when you come to national female youth members of parliament, they are only voted by the 3 executive committees of the district, actually three positions. That is the chairperson of the youth council in the district, and then the finance secretary of the district, and then the female affairs secretary of the district. So the scope of the voters or the electorates in the national female youth member of parliament election is a little bit small compared to regional youth members of parliament. So the people who are voting are those leaders from the sub-counties, and then the representatives from the Uganda National Students Association. Every district is also sending representatives of UNSA, Uganda National Students Association. So basically, those are the people who are voting, and those people were voted in office by young people. They were elected, and now they are coming to elect youth MPs from all the regions.
That's very profound, because now I'm thinking of what is known of the youth when it comes to elections. It's quite a chaotic perspective. If you think about what is a youth doing at a polling station with active politics, away from elections that need electoral colleges, the first thing one would think of is every type of chaos. When it comes to hooligan mentalities, hooligan activities, rowdy activities, one would think of young people in line with elections. What do you think leaders, and I think I'll pose this to Daniela, or both of you share your 2 cents, but I'll start with Daniela. What do you think now leaders in these positions, from the student body to the national, to NEC, what do you think these leaders can do to make sure that at grassroots, local government participation, village participation, the youth have a different brand in presentation? I'll start with you.
Well, at the core of it for the youth MP elections, the fact that it's going to be already student leaders and youth leaders who are going to be voting for these youth MPs, they have a higher standard to be held to, because these are already leaders who are presenting certain other youth in their region. So in my opinion, I think the youth MP elections are actually a little bit more peaceful, since it's not every single youth that's voting. However, at the core of it, still that we have to have peace. We have to maintain peace during these elections, really. So I think what the youth can do, or the leaders can do, is first of all, when we're publicizing who is going to vote from each region, which I think has already been done, and secondly, putting safeguards while the voting process is going on, that it does not turn so rowdy, it does not become chaotic at the moment that is happening.
Odwe, let's look at now the office, the operation of the office, and again in line with rebranding the image of the youth at every participation of government or citizen participation. How best can the leadership, yes, they might not every youth will vote, definitely so, as it is, and it's okay, I believe it's okay. But whoever votes is representing the voice of every other youth, right from the grassroots.
Because people get voted from the village up to the national level.
Exactly. So how do you think that the leaders who are put in place at every level can best rebrand and mobilize, change the mentality or what youth are viewed as at grassroots level, so that when youth speak at a village, even the older ones will respect? You know, because at that point it's matters politics, it matters concerns of the village, and not just family matters, but it's concerns. So how best do you think this can be rebranded?
I have had a challenge with a lot of young people, having participated in the NRM primaries for Youth MP Northern Uganda in the recently concluded elections.
Right.
I like the manner in which you bring out, for example, the word rebranding. I think young people have lost direction. To me, largely because if you look at the election we just concluded, it was it lacked integrity from young people. It lacked focus from young people. Majority of the delegates that we're dealing with did not have direction. Many were being driven by money. Many did not have something to stand for.
Right.
So, for me, I think for young people to make sense to community, for young people to attain respect from elders, they have got to stand up and, you know, remove themselves from the slumber and the too much need for small handouts, because the future is upon young people. True. And if we have leaders who have been elected on the basis of small handouts, then we have lost direction. Most times when money comes so much into play, you realize that we lose leadership. But we get people buying their way, buying their doors and windows into public office. And at the end of it all, service delivery is frustrated. And it eventually cascades to the people who actually took these handouts. You find them crying after 2 years, oh, we voted so and so, and they have not come back. But actually, they made the demands very high to the extent that the people who make it to office simply go to do reimbursement. Because how do you tell me that someone has to spend close to 2 billion shillings to go to parliament to represent young people? Then where will such a person have time to get back to serve you when they bought themselves into office? And that comes from the too much demand that these delegates exert on the candidates. So for me, my call to the young people of this country, if we indeed love our country and we want to make sense, we want to make contribution to the development of this country, we have got to change our attitude on how we choose our leaders. It's very important and fundamental. You will get information. I expect it to happen in Arua. I expect it to happen in Mbale. But not all is lost. I am an Afro-optimist. I think that there are people who can still pay attention to the voice of reason and vote basing on who can serve, not because of the handouts that they have been given. There is a question you had asked my colleague on the issue of chaos during elections. I want to comment before I can hand over the microphone back to you. When you see chaos happening in young people's elections or youth elections, you need to know that most times when young people come up to stand for different positions, there are a lot of interest at play behind young people.
Right.
And so, to the extent that sometimes people are forced, you're going to get information coming from Bale, coming from Arua. Delegates are coerced by certain, untouchables in this country. You realize that they will camp at the voting station for young people. Like, people are not free. There's a lot of intimidation, a lot of bullying. And so you find there are few people who are not willing to go with, the direction they're giving them, and chaos will erupt. Because a young person, once you try to force him to think in a different way from what he wants, probably you will see them erupt. They are not cool They have hot blood. They are not 70 years. These are people who are 25 years, 22 years. They will speak up. And at the end of it all, you're going to see chaos at the voting center because they are resisting. They are rejecting. Some of them are rejecting what is being forced on them. I don't know if you followed what happened during the youth elections of 2021, but I can tell you there was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of beating of young people. So my call also goes to the Electoral Commission to ensure that this election is free and fair. The election gives platform to young people to exercise their civic right and roles, to vote their leaders without coercion from foreign interests or outside interests from within the bracket of young people. So the Electoral Commission needs to up their game. And I'm saying this in comparison to what happened in 2021. The Electoral Commission, you need to give us confidence as assurance and let us have confidence in you as the people of Uganda that this election that is going to happen today is going to be free. I was in the election that happened in Chambogo when they're voting the NEC members of National Youth Council. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of fighting. You get? It happened at Chambogo College. There was a lot of fighting. And for me, I can largely tell you that I blame the Electoral Commission because the organization of the electoral process was not okay.
Right.
From nomination, from accreditation, everything was disorganized. And it culminated into the chaos that we had. They had to arrest a candidate, throw him in cells. I don't think that is really needed. If Electoral Commission can get organized and protect young people and give them space that can allow them exercise their right, we're going to have an election that will have meaning, because you can't avoid chaos in an election, but at least we look at the extent. What was the extent of, what was the degree of chaos in the election that happened in Bale, in Arua, in Mbarara, in maybe Kampala? So that's important. The EC really needs to step up.
All right, thank you very much. You're watching UBC TV, and in case you're just joining us, thank you so much for choosing UBC TV this morning. We're having a conversation regarding the youth elections that are taking place this particular day, 28th of January 2026. And in studio with me are indeed youth leaders who have all the authority to speak into this particular matter as they are active at it. Damulira Daniela, who is a student leader, and Oremo Odwe, who is a youth leader as well. Be part of the conversation, 0709 602 592. Good morning, UBC. I want to remind my fellow youth that we should remain disciplined during and after this election, because without peace, we are nothing, and development cannot prosper. I think it's what you meant. And you say, as Northern Uganda, we are at Mvara waiting for the official opening of the polling station. Thank you very much for being an active participant in matters your country. Phillips from Karamoja, good morning to you all in studio. Thank you for the show, and I am a parent. My question is, youth leaders are supposed to advocate for the right of their fellow youth in terms of rights to belong to a particular party, right to employment, etc., etc. Why do we see, hear, and observe a high rate of youth arrested for being a supporter of a particular party? Why do we keep quiet as youth leaders and not comment on bribery by politicians who use youth mostly to carry out hooliganism? That's the word you've written. And you say most youth graduate but not employed in a meritocratic way. Do you have a direction? Very profound question. And definitely two minds here, brilliant minds at that. And definitely you'd expect unique perspectives. I'll start with you, Daniela, on this one. Phillips from Karamoja is concerned. He is a parent, but he says his question is, first and foremost, aren't youth leaders supposed to advocate for the right of their fellow youth? Because, especially in terms of party belonging, because why is it that their fellow youth have been, why do we keep seeing or hearing, observing the high rate of youth arrested for belonging to a particular party or support a particular party? Isn't that something that is supposed to be fought for because it's a right?
Okay, to really dive into this, I'm going to break it down. First and foremost, how do we ensure that the leaders representing the views of the people, right? I think in the terms of the youth MP election, there is a bit of a gap partly because we are not really sure if they're supposed to represent the delegates' views or the whole sub-county views or their personal individual views, right? Which becomes complicated. And then to make it further a bit more complex is the factor of the monetization of elections. As he said, it's a really big problem, but it goes to every single election. Every single MP election has a lot of monetization, which makes it a bit more harder. It makes it harder for the people who are elected to actually represent the views of the people or to actually help them because they felt that they bought that post. There is nothing else I need to give to you because I paid for you to vote me, which makes it, as I said, you enter the parliament or you enter the seat that you've entered into, feeling like you have to get back what you put in. You have to get your gains back. You have to get your investments, return on investment, right? ROI, which really complicates things. And in terms of other elections as well, also youth MP elections, we have something that is so prevalent among the youth. This is being so opinionated on who you feel should win, but never actually going to vote. But that's a bit not evident in the youth MP elections because it's already highlighted who is going to vote. But even then, who they're voting really representing the views of all the youth in the country? Right. Especially if these people also have political aspirations. So if I have political aspirations and I know that someone from a political party that I want to join is also standing for this post, then obviously I have to vote them because it also assists me in the long term. So that it becomes more of a give and take, an exchange. The delegates are voting in order to get something back, money back, political aspirations being achieved and heightened, which really at the end of it sells the soul of who is supposed to represent the youth in these elections, right? Then the second part of that question was saying?
He went ahead to say, well, we are hearing and observing a high rate of youth arrested for supporting particular parties, but also why do you keep quiet as youth leaders and not comment on bribery by politicians who use the youth mostly to carry out their crooked agendas, and most youth also graduate and are not employed in a meritocratic matter. Do you have a direction for that as youth leaders?
It is very evident that lately we're seeing allegedly arrests of people who are belonging to certain parties. And what is making this a bit more complex and sad, really devastating at the COVID, is the fact that in law, in law we like to say justice needs to be seen to be done and not simply done. Meaning, the fact that something has been done the justice has been achieved, if it does not look like justice has been achieved, then it's hard for the people to really trust in the decisions of the court. And I bring this because from the youth perspective, having a chief justice chosen by the president, approved by the president's people, and then sworn in at the president's farm, to some youth, it starts to feel like justice is not done. So it even becomes a bit harder to go and challenge these arrests within the court, which puts us in quite a complicated position in that it is, from the youth perspective, it's hard to know where actually to go to get this justice and really lobby for the release of such people who we sometimes feel have been arrested unjustly. So yes, obviously the youth leaders need to speak about this, and a lot of them have been speaking about this. But in addition to speaking about this, what can we do about this? That should be the bigger question.
Yeah, so it's more like you're caught up between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly.
Right. Oremo, let me come to you, just for you to share your own perspective with this submission from Phillips, who is watching us from Karamoja. One, the fact that he's wondering if youth leaders are supposed to advocate for the right of their fellow youth in regards to what party, whether they belong to whatever party they feel like or choose to be independent, because he observes a high rate of youth being arrested for being a supporter of particular parties. But also, why are you youth leaders quiet and commenting on nothing on matters bribery, where politicians are bribing young people for their own agendas? And of course, the fact that youth are graduating in large numbers, but of course, they're not employed, and those who are employed, it's not on meritocracy. Is there a direction? Is there something to be done? The questions are very many, but the answers are also very few.
Thank you very much. I want to send regards to my senior from Karamoja. I've just returned from Karamoja, I think 2 weeks back. Mata. Now, it raises a very serious issue.
Right.
His issue is on the question of bribery among young people and the issue of employment vis-a-vis meritocracy.
Right.
And also association to political parties. I must say, first and foremost, as a country, we are on a multi-party dispensation. We have a number of political parties operating in this country, and I believe that people should be given, people should be left with the decision of deciding on what political party they want to subscribe to. For example, I subscribe to the National Resistance Movement.
Right.
With clarity, I was not sent there. I was not pushed there. I think my father probably is even not NRM. But for me, I am there because I have reasons that have attracted me there.
You made an informed decision.
I made a decision myself to be in the NRM. And I don't think it should be a problem for anyone else to support the National Unity Platform. I don't think it should be a problem for anyone to support PFF. Because associating with a political party comes from a point of view understanding what that party stands for, what the party is aspiring to achieve in a particular period of time. And so I condemn, for example, I have seen some cases of young people being arrested for participating in the activities of some political parties. I want to condemn and call on the people responsible that let us have a country that respects everyone. We are all Ugandans. There is no group that is more Ugandan than the others. Then when you come to the issue of bribery, I think I made this very clearly in my earlier submission, that this is actually the fundamental. Young people have been used, and I like the way he has intertwined the issue of employment and bribery. Those two aspects move together. It is unfortunate that to some extent I get to understand that some young people are frustrated, and so any penny that comes around they cannot spare. We had an election in Kololo, the primaries, during the National Delegates Conference of the NRM. And I can tell you the voter bribery that was there, I can say it was untold. You can't even measure the bribery that was there, to the extent that some candidates spent 3 billion shillings. A youth who is 25 years, and also for me, I think we should even go...
3 billion?
Meaning billions. Actually, a youth who is 25 million, for me, I want us as Ugandans to even go deep to ask questions on where the money, for example, comes from.
That's why they say in Uganda you're poor alone.
Exactly. Because how can a 25-year-old boy, a 25-year-old girl have the capacity of spending 3 billion shillings in an election? You give one delegate 800,000 to go and vote you. And then you expect such a person to serve people? I think the question will go back to young people. We need to wake up. We need to get serious. We need to get focused.
Right.
Otherwise, if money reigns all the decisions that we're going to make, then we're losing a country. The elders we are seeing tomorrow will not be there. We're going to be in charge of this country. But if we build our character centered on money, on that foundation of money, then we are going to lose a country. We are going to lose leadership. We are going to vote people. Lousy people are going to buy their way into offices. And immediately we send unserious people to office. We are going to frustrate even our grandmothers deep in the village. The problem will come back to us in a way that probably we don't understand. So I want to call upon young people that the issue of bribery is alarming. Mostly in youth elections, by the way. Do you know that to run youth election is more expensive than to run a constituency election in this country?
To run any college election.
What?
Yes. It's more expensive.
I am telling you.
Elaborate on that.
It is.
No, if you're running for...
recently we were chewing on, having conversations with my colleagues here on set, and we were talking about the monies that candidates could have spent, especially at parliamentary level, and there was an estimate of 500 million.
I have friends who have won constituency with 120 million, 80 million. Now let me do for you the math. For example, if you're running for Northern Youth Member of Parliament,
okay,
let us estimate that you have 1,500 delegates. and you have to maybe bribe 70% of these delegates, because for you to win the election, you need at least 70%. You have to take majority votes. Let's say you are only going to pay 70% of the voters 800,000 each. How much is that? Because it happened in the primaries of NRM. I know candidates who were paying people 600. I'm not going to mention their names, but they were paying people 600,000. They were paying people 500,000. If you do the multiplication there, just multiply maybe 600,000. Let's do average of 500. Okay, 500,000 times 800 delegates.
All right, let's do the math.
So
500,000 times
you
800.
realize,
But 500,000 is actually low because some people bribe 1
no,
million.
I've just gone the average. I've just gone the average.
Did you say 800?
We do 800,000.
800,000. So 500,000 times 800,000. Did you say that?
No,
You can just do
500,000 times
500,000.
1,500 delegates.
Just do 500,000 times 800 delegates.
Oh, 800 delegates.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Oh.
You'll get.
Wow.
That's
at
polling.
A lot of money.
That is at polling, but the campaign season
That's a lot
doesn't
of money.
happen. That is
Wow.
on the polling day. That is the money that was being given on the polling day, but they had also spent close to that amount before the polling day on the same delegates. So the money in the election is overwhelming. The money has taken over
And
the
for a
politics.
youth, if you say that, because this total I'm looking at, this is 400 million.
Yeah.
A youth, 25, 22, 23 years
And I'm talking about
closely out of campus.
This is bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum because some actually bribe about 1 million, right?
So Julie.
Where do they get this money?
Julie
Some of them
and the
are
people of
pushed
Uganda.
by other politicians and some
Julie
come
and the
from
people of
privileged
Uganda.
backgrounds. So it
we're
becomes
losing.
like
We're
that.
losing the country. Let me tell you, we are going to rubbish. He talked about meritocracy. Felix from Karamoja. We have lost meritocracy in this country. It has been sent to the dustbin. Money is the one that sends you to office. It's very unfortunate that young people have refused to betray money, but they betray capable leaders, they betray intellectualism, they betray people who can actually give direction to young people. I want to ask, with a lot of humility, the young people who are going to vote today, that you should be in position to decide basing on who can represent your agenda. Most times young people vote and start crying after 2 years. Hey, we have voted so and so,
from what you're
they have
saying,
abandoned us.
From what you're saying, it feels like now positions of service in Uganda, let's look at the higher ones. Okay, let's say parliament. I feel like they should now have an idea of what happens with cultural leader service points. I'll use an example of Buganda. All those ministers, the cabinet generally that serve in the Buganda kingdom, they're not paid, but they serve with passion. They serve with a heart of service. And I think now Uganda needs to come to a point.
No, I've not refused. I'm just, I'm just in dismay.
Uganda needs to come to a point where countrymen and women are encouraged to serve from that angle, that you're not expectant of such monies when you get to that post. And whether it comes or not, you're still available to serve.
But Julie, I reason like this. I reason like this. If you were standing, you have spent 1 billion shillings or 2 billion shillings in an election. And I don't think there's a lot of money to carry from parliament. If you do the math on what a member of parliament can get in the 5 years in parliament, it's not more than 5 billion. So if someone has spent 3 billion to go into parliament, how will you expect them to make sacrifices to come and serve you? It goes back to the voters. Let the voters focus.
Let the
voters focus.
college vote, remember. It's easier. It is true that as the youth and as everyone, when we're voting for our MPs, we need to look at how are they going to serve us, the vision, right? What happens is that a lot of the voters be short-sighted and are looking at what can they give me today.
In that moment, yes.
Yes, they're not looking at how will this person serve me the next 5 years and how will they serve
I don't
my
know if
interests.
perhaps our civic education needs a revamp as well.
But it's also a little bit harder with college votes because remember, these are people who are representing other youth, but most of the time, these other youth are not going to hold them accountable because they're not even aware that these things are happening, right? So when it's a college vote, first of all, it's more expensive. Although the people are fewer, there is a lot of money to bribe them, right? Because they have to be swayed. let me say that the supply is lower than the demand. Everyone is trying to get these delegates to go on their side, so they end up going to the highest bidder. But furthermore, they're looking at, I do not want to stop at this National Youth Council. I also have other aspirations ahead. So who can help me get ahead the fastest and the easiest? So I feel like it's a bit harder to hold these delegates accountable.
Let me share with you something.
In a minute, yes.
On the day we were voted during the primaries of NRM, I received a call from some young people in Yumbe, Yumbe district. They loved me so much. They believed in my agenda. But they called me in the morning of the voting day, around 10. They said, my brother would love to vote you. But this morning, we have received 500,000 each from your opponent. I have around 400 in my house. After this election, I want to start a business which is worth 1 million. If you can send me an alternative money to counter the money that they are promising to give us, we are going to reject the money from your opponent and vote you. You know what I told them? I told them, you decide on what to do. I do not have that money to give you. So simply I want you to know that money has taken center stage, and it is going to be very hard for us to get quality in leadership for as long as money is still the controller of decision fulcrums for young people.
And I think it gets a bit worse than that, because those youth MPs also have to compete in the primaries, right? As you did. So you spend in the primaries, you spend in the campaign period, you spend on the delegates' bribery. And I really think that the only thing that can demonetize elections in this country, in my opinion, is if people were, how can I put this? Excluded, right, by the Electoral Commission as soon as word comes in that you're bribed. I know that they say this is done, but practically it's never done. So I really think at the core of it, if we're going to really combat the monetization of elections all through within this country, that we have to hold those accountable, right? That in the instance that you bribed, you're removed off the slot.
Yes.
We give space for others. That's the only way we can actually vote on vision.
Very profound at that. We're looking into the youth elections that are happening today, the 28th of January. And, well, it's a lot that we're looking at. Matters peace in their youth participation. But, of course, what has so far taken center stage, of course, with a comment that came in from Phillips in Karamoja, was the idea of bribery, employment that is not on merit anymore, money, monetizing the election processes, especially from youth level. The youth are shaping the future of Uganda now, because about 75% of Uganda's population, according to UBOS, are youth. That means it's the youth now. That it's now, it's now. It's not even tomorrow. It's not some many more years to come. It's now. And thinking about the fact that money is ruling from an evil perspective and yet shaping the future of Uganda, it's really, really worrying.
Disorganizing the future.
Indeed, I know, right? and thank you very much. I do agree with you on that. It's disorganizing the future and perhaps giving us a very crooked shape. But let me read more of your comments. Muwonge Ahmed from Kayunga, Bale sub-county. The youth are desperate. They do not have jobs. Thank you very much, Mwonge, for being on the show. And our politics is ruled by money at all levels, leading to poor selection of leaders that don't even advocate for the needs of the youth in this country. They get to parliament only to mind their business, become speechless, and remain with a figure of representative, not a leader. Piangu from Mbale.
I know around 10 members of parliament who have never said anything for the last 5 years.
Shots fired.
I've been tracking them.
They just reach for the budget. The budget.
They don't say anything.
Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, Uganda. First, the facts on the ground are tough. The delegates from the National Youth Council are mostly NRM members. This creates a built-in advantage for their candidates and makes the race incredibly difficult for anyone from the opposition from the very start. Second, Oremo hit the nail on the head. This election runs on handouts. When votes are bought and sold, an opposition candidate with limited resources stands little to no real chance of winning. The system is stacked against them. Joel from Busia again comes through and says, lastly, the Electoral College mode of voting should stop. Youth are voted by very few people. Female members of parliament are voted by everyone at district level. Let electoral reforms change this. A youth shall be identified by the date of their birth. Let youth MP be part of a special ballot handed to the youth during elections. Joel from Busia. Thank you, Joel, for being on the show. I'll start with you, Daniela, and indeed I'll still get both of your perspectives as we begin to roll the carpet out for this conversation. As a young person, what Uganda do you envision to see?
As a young person, the Uganda I envision to see keeps getting dimmer and dimmer and more unlikely. But however, the Uganda I envision to see within the electoral process is one that is ruled by vision, by action, and by decision, right? And this is guided decision. It's not monetization, because at the core of it, when the people of Uganda monetize the elections or allow the monetization of the elections, because you cannot hold the leaders accountable alone, even the voters accept these bribes happily. Some even ask for them. But when we do this, we sell the soul of our country. 10 years forward, 5 years forward, we sell the core and the soul of leadership and service within this country. And I really envision a state where we can actually come and say, no, enough is enough. We don't want your money, we want your action. Work for us, do this for us. We need the healthcare to be staffed. We need the roads to be built well. We need the schools to be working. UP and USC, they need to be working more efficiently. We need a voice that stands for us as the youth, as the people of Uganda. I feel that this is the only thing that can save the service of this country. But to do that, to change the whole mindset, because it's not something that has just come, it's something that's deeply rooted within Ugandans, right? To change the whole mindset of Ugandans, to shift from, I will not ask this person to give me money before I vote them. It's something so difficult. It takes some intense civic education at the grassroots level to the national level, all through. And until we reach a point whereby we can understand that we need to vote on vision and action, on proactive leadership, and not just on how much is this person going to give me today. Then that's the only point when we can reach a Uganda that works for us and not for the people in power only.
Profound. Before I engage you, Odwe, let me read some of the comments coming through. Good morning, Uganda. I'm Paul Emorut, from Tororo. The whole structure of youth politics is a rotten one that needs total review. The level of bribery is hybrid, demon, and very suppressing in nature that a humble poor boy or girl without godparents cannot contest. That's why, I think you meant good parents or godparents, but that's why we... Good
parents.
Oh, like pushers, backers.
People can hold it.
Oh, yeah. Godfather in quotes. Yes, I hear you. Yes. Okay. That's why we don't have youth leaders who want to meet President Museveni for self-enrichment other than advocating for youth-friendly policies. Let me get your 2 cents on this, Oremo, especially given that some of the comments coming in are shooting on the side of the NRM party, which you're under, but especially that, but also the discontent of the fact that youth leaders only want to meet the president, as opposed to meeting him in advocacy, but rather meeting him in self-satisfaction.
First and foremost, it's very unfortunate that we cannot rewind time. But if we could, we would have saved ourselves from this debate that we're having this morning.
Right.
During the CA, the Constituent Assembly, members of parliament or candidates aspiring to be members of parliament would go to communities, gather people, talk to them, set off their bikes and vehicles and go away without giving people a penny, without giving people anything. It was simply coming to talk, and all the candidates would come and talk together. If I'm standing with you, we go and address the crowd together. I speak, you speak, we go. Let the decision come from the masses on who should be voted. It is very unfortunate that we have gone to a very, very dangerous time where, first of all, you'll speak to voters independently, and you cannot leave a campaign venue without leaving a penny, without leaving money with people. That's very unfortunate. You will talk to people, but people are just waiting for one thing, that is the administrative announcement. What is the administrative announcement from Honorable? And that's very unfortunate. But you've asked me on on the point of advocacy, I think we have one or two disoriented young people who come in leadership simply because they want to. Of course, politically, as someone who studied political science, human beings are just like states. People are self-interested. Everyone wants to see see how they can scoop opportunities, see how they can scoop chances to enrich themselves. But there are people who have demonstrated they're actually coming up to serve the people. They're people who have served the interests of the people, and people have been loyal to them. We have members of parliament who have served for so long because people vote them back, because when they go to parliament, they represent the interests of the people. Within the NRM, we have some young people, of course, who are always running around after the president for opportunities, but we have the Oremos who actually want to see right things done for this country. For me, for example, if I had a chance to meet the national chairman of the NRM today, I would be clear to tell him whatever I've been telling you here, the frustration young people have in this country on recruitment in government offices, on recruitment in opportunities. I can tell you the issue of godparents. If you do not have someone to hold your hands, leave alone standing in public office. You will not even ascend to a simple position of being a communications officer in the Ministry of ICT. You know?
Right.
You must have someone holding your hands, and that's very unfortunate for us as a country. We need to have a country that can allow competent people to thrive. Because when you're competent, you must be detected through the interviews, and you are given a job, not for yourself, but because the country believes that the skills you have can add up on the development of this country. And that's what we need. We have young people in NRM who are pushing for that. We have young people who are disoriented, and these problems cut across. Every political party has its problems. But the question comes back to us young people. What country do we want? You asked Daniel a question.
Yeah.
What country do you envision? I envision a country where systems allow young people to thrive. The NRM government has been in position to come up, do stabilization here and there, have a state that is having shape. Now, what it should be focusing on right now, which I can tell the president even when I meet him today, that there are things which are not right within the NRM that needs to be fixed urgently. For me, I believe in fixing things from the inside. I know every political party in the world has internal issues. So you cannot say, because NRM has failed to do this, now I can't be in NRM. Because FDC has failed to do this, now I can't be in FDC. That level, that kind of dogma is what is actually frustrating us. I believe we should be in position to talk with the rest of the political parties, advise ourselves as Ugandans, people who love our country.
Right.
But the castigations and all those talks really waste time.
Thank you very much. Been having this conversation. Today is the youth elections for representatives to Parliament. And the day is today. We've been having this conversation with youth leaders. That is Damulira Daniela, a student leader, and Oremo Odwe, who is as well a youth leader. Very profound and enriching conversation, and one that indeed really, really nudges a lot of awareness. Yeah, a lot of awareness and ponder at that. Closing it with a few comments that are coming through, and that is Nwamanya Brayton. Voting is just being done out of emotions, especially in the Central. Look at how many youth's minds have been corrupted by money games, and our disappointment. Even the youth who are voted are no longer advocates for what pains the youth, but instead just keep moving up and about in the name of mobilizing support for the NRM. And hey, I'm Mashemerwa, Alozias here in Kabare, Butanda. NRM members are just focusing on families. Well, you can see Oremo here, who's focusing on a great cause for Uganda. And somebody else comes through finally. Good morning, Uganda. Me, I want to give UBC credit for the education and entertainment and information. At that, you are the best. I'm Dennis from Banda. Thank you, Dennis, for loving UBC and choosing to be inspired as a young Ugandan. I'll close this off with the comments from Daniela and Oremo. The Uganda they envision, Daniela envisions a Uganda that is ruled by vision and action. Oremo dreams of a Uganda, a country that allows young people, that has systems that allow young people to thrive. Again, for God and my country. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 33